How do you feel
Right.
about this offensive line? And in terms of running the football, do you think it's more, is it a scheme issue? Is it these guys, these five guys up front? Is it the running backs? Like, what do they need to do, in your opinion, to be able to run the football more effectively?
Yeah, well, I hate to middle the answer, but I'm going to give you the classic. It's all of the above, right? I think that Brian Daboll would be the first to tell you he's got to do a better job scheming up the run game. I think that the offensive line's got to do a better job executing. There were far too many times where the running back was contacted either at or behind the line of scrimmage and sort of left to try to fight for whatever he could get on his own. And then I think that the running backs, whether it be Devin Singletary or Zach Moss, whoever ends up leading the way, or whether it is like a sort of a true timeshare situation between those two guys, I think they have to be better too. So I think it's across the board. I will tell you that I know that the amount of time that they spent practicing the run game last year was maybe not sufficient in my mind, and I think in some of the offensive lineman's mind as well. I think that is certainly an issue. Now, when you look at the results of the passing game, it kind of, you can kind of see why that is, right? I mean, they threw the ball almost as well as any other team in the NFL, and by several measures, maybe as well as any team in the NFL. That being said, though, so people listening might say, well, why are they harping on the run game? I mean, they finished number two in offense, in scoring offense, and I get that, but if you look at that Kansas City game, when things aren't working for Josh Allen in the passing game, it would be nice if you had some semblance of a running game to lean on, and they just didn't have it. So, however they go about fixing that, whether it is through new players, certainly on the offensive line, it doesn't look like that's going to be the way that they go about it. Because if Cody Ford comes back and is healthy, I expect him to be the starter at left guard. And to your point, that's it. That's your five right there, right? And we'll see what they do with Ike Bucker. If he comes back as a restricted free agent, but you're locked in, and you're locked in not just for 21, but you're locked in for 2022 as well. So they've got all five starters. They've got an opportunity here to really build some continuity. And I know that's kind of a buzzword when you talk about the offensive line, but it also is going to start with some guys taking a step forward too. And that starts with Cody Ford, high second round pick. The team traded up for, couldn't really find a position for, finally got him locked in at left guard. He's going to need to be better in year three than he has been his first couple of seasons. Even a guy like Deion Dawkins, who they went out and paid, listen, they're paying him like a top 10 tackle. I'd like to see Deion Dawkins make a Pro Bowl. I think he's far from the problem on that line. But when you're talking about needing to improve the run game and needing to protect Josh Allen, you need your franchise left tackle. You want him to be a Pro Bowler. I don't think that's too much to ask. And then you look at the right side and at Mitch Morse too. I mean, let's call what happened with Mitch Morse what it was in the middle of the season. He got benched. Okay. They thought for that game in Arizona that he was not among their best five offensive linemen. And to your point, he takes a pay cut. You're not asking a guy to take a pay cut if you're totally satisfied with the level of his performance. So Mitch Morse has got to be better. And then on the right side, I think Darrell Williams had a great season for what he was, which was sort of just an absolute home run of a find in free agency. But now the expectation is raised for him, right? Now he's a $9 million a year player.
Yeah.
It's great to be a $2.5 million a year player and give them what he gave them. He's going to have to give them that and more as a $9 million a year player. And then John Feliciano, lastly on him, I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a great player. I think he might be, quite frankly, a little bit overrated by some Bills fans, but so be it, right? He's back. He's got a new contract. They love his toughness. Josh Allen loves him. All five of those guys individually and collectively need to be better in 2021 than they were in 2020.